And we are very lucky to have John Walsh from IBM, a thinker, a leader, someone who's actually had a
Down,
great
hands
career.
on keyboard
That's
all the
right.
time. And that's
So,
ultimately really what it's all about. So,
yeah.
so my name's John Walicki, and I'm an IBMer. Really delighted that IBM is here with AT&T at the 5G Sports Hackathon. Pretty excited. I think the energy in the crowd is you can start to hear the volume pump it up. Why are we here? So I think that was one of the questions
Yeah.
that we're going to get to, and let's really dive into that because IBM's here, and the IBM mentor team is here because we really want to inspire the next generation of developers to build with the technologies that's really going to drive the future. And
So, would love to hear about yourself for a minute, just so the audience can get a
yeah,
sense of what you've done and how
I'd
you,
love to
because that,
talk.
that, that kind of helps everybody.
It's not my first day at IBM,
That's right.
but what it is, what I do is I bring a world of experience to containerization and edge and IoT and then Linux and open source. So a good part of my career at IBM Research, and then a big part of my career using open source and really driving open source adoption with the Linux Foundation within IBM and the Linux Technology Centers, uh, trying to promote the whole inner source and an open source set of tooling, and then really just make the change from where we were just building proprietary software to really working in the open with our colleagues. And now, for the last 5 years, as an IBM developer advocate, out speaking at conferences, mentoring at hackathons, writing tutorials, doing tons of live streams in the last year and a half.
That's great. I mean, given your background at IBM and your job as being an advocate, there's so many things we could talk about for a few hours, but given the short time, and I think we'll have the opportunity to do other sessions with you
Oh,
through this
perfect.
because
Love to come back.
we're here for a while. A lot of the people listening in are university students who are a part of this. What kind of insight would you want to share with them on where you think the big potential is in terms of 5G and IoT systems? Because I know you cover both disciplines,
Yes.
and there's so much going on in terms of smart manufacturing, energy, entertainment, which is what we're talking about here. So would you want to share some insight
So
as to
when I talk to students, I just encourage them, be fearless, because they've got so much opportunity ahead of them. There are the big inflection points are we looking at today with 5G and edge processing just open up all sorts of use cases in, like you mentioned, industrial and entertainment, home automation, manufacturing. There's, if you look across telco and uh, transportation, everywhere you look, there's big transformations and inflection points that are ripe for opportunity. So if you're a student today, this is a perfect place to be.
one of the things that's certainly a theme of this event is taking knowledge in the classroom and then doing things with it hands-on.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that's
just
kind of your job.
encourage, yes,
That's right.
hands-on keyboard. Let's learn together.
Yeah, and I would love for you to talk for just a minute or two on the importance of taking everything you learn in the classroom and doing it. And I know you live this every day, so but
Yeah,
I think it's good for everybody to hear how important it is to just do stuff.
Whether it's you're just going to run through a tutorial or watch a video and do it with the instructor, there's nothing like muscle memory of, type a command, kube CLL, whether it's a kube command or some of the CLIs. You just really want to practice. And just like you would learn an instrument, you want to practice your craft. And your craft as a computer scientist and a developer is to create things. And it doesn't have to be a giant project. It could be, I'm going to spend 30 minutes or 15 minutes learning a technology or learning a command. Just dive in. So I just encourage developers every day, even for wherever you are in your career. Obviously, younger developers have a lot ahead of them, but even for older developers, I learn something new every day, and they get so excited.
One question I want to ask you, I do a bit of teaching myself, and I find when I start talking about these new large-scale systems, like in manufacturing, where there's a blend of IoT and machine learning and 5G mech and quantum cryptography, a lot of times students feel overwhelmed. And, I say, look at it from the other side, it's an opportunity. The other thing I say is nobody's an expert in any of this,
Right.
and this is your chance. Would you speak a little bit about how to manage that complexity and then make it a strength for you, not
Yeah,
to
of
not to
course.
be buried?
I think if you look at the mountain ahead of every developer, there's so much to learn. It can look overwhelming, but you know what? Every marathon and every climb starts with a step. And so you have to start on the journey of, build your skills. And every day it's, build your skills a little bit more. You can become an expert by practice. And we talk about practice and just that continuous learning cycle. I'm The way I do it is once I find a topic of interest to me, I'm quick to Google, find an expert in the field, follow them on Twitter, look at their blogs. Medium is a great way to connect with developers now, and then start to see what they're working on and sort of follow along. And sometimes Git repositories. I'm like, I find a cool Git repository, I clone it, and then I bang through the instructions.
So we're going to put you on the spot now. So one of the things we're doing is this event, of course, is being recorded.
Okay.
And since we have so many experts, what we do is
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
it's not a test. Because this is being recorded, we're going to ask you to make a prediction about the next 5 to 10 years. And because it's recorded, we could then, in a few years, so we just had Lee, who's teaches here, and he was talking about how his prediction was that sports would really be an interactive online event with a live event. So it's almost like, so that was his like 5 to 10 year prediction. So given your view, your hands-on view of the technology and the fact that you work with developers today who are going to be the inventors tomorrow, in this recorded session, what would you want to say that 5 years or 10 years we could say John is here. He said
I was here and I said,
yeah, all right. So we're putting you on the spot. So you thought this was going to be easy, all right?
Great question. I think so. First, I like that concept of being interactive because there's if I were to look at how you drive engagement, is you drive engagement when someone is actually engaged. And the best way to get them engaged is to have them participate in the event. If you're just passively sitting, I mean, I'm a Jets fan. Look, and it's really tough being a Jets fan, but when I go to the stadium, I'm there, I'm cheering, I'm excited, I want to watch the game, I want to be part of the game, I want to hear the cruncher players, I want to see up close the battlefield of it, and that whole experience that's what makes me go back, right? So that's sort of that why you would want to really elevate the fan experience. Now that's not a prediction yet. If I were to say what's going to happen in the next 5 years, I would say, one, this is the most powerful compute device that everyone has today. And it's this plus the wearables. Maybe not so much VR, because I think VR is going to be a tougher play longer term. But this plus your wristwatch plus a bunch of other sensors really puts you into that. So it is still centered around the smartphone, and then it's the peripheral around it.
So you see wearables, the new generation of wearables and connected devices,
Yes.
and this actually turns into your personal command center.
Yes, exactly. This becomes for everyone, and my daughters for sure. They don't, can't walk 5 feet without their device.
So for the university students who are here and watching this, I guess would it be fair to say that taking the time to learn about mobile systems, learning about distributed computing, learning about the microprocessors that go into wearables, learning about short distance protocols like Zigbee and other
Absolutely, yeah, Zigbee and then edge processing and edge inferencing. So when we're building AI models, we don't want to send the data all the way to the cloud and all the way back down because the latencies of that certainly don't play well when you want great experiences. So the more you can do on the edge, the more you can take advantage of the 5G and the lower latencies, that's going to be very powerful because it improves the experience.
So in the few minutes we have left, would want to hear about what IBM is doing in this space, specifically that young people
Yeah.
would. I know IBM is very famous and they do a lot of big systems like banking systems and government, but in terms of what IBM is doing relevant to this that a young developer or university student might want to, I know IBM has a lot of content online, whether it's a blockchain or other things. Yeah.
So blockchain, great topic, but what we do have a set of products around the IBM Edge Application Manager, and it's really about containerizing workloads and then managing those workloads at scale across a wide variety of devices. So it's not just building a container, but then managing a container and putting AI workloads inside of that container and running that model and managing the life cycle of models. So we've got great set of expertise around AI, number one, and then two, containerization of that AI model, and then distributing the model in a distributed systems management set of techniques. That's why we're here.
Oh, great, great. So thank you for your time. I guess we're about to wrap up here. Now you're going to be here through this event.
Yes. So come see us at the IBM table. We've got a great set of mentors and experts. I really reach out to my IBM family and say, Dave, you got to come, and Russ, please come. And so we've got a great group at the IBM table, and we're going to be running around helping students if they just raise their hand in Slack or come to ask us questions. And the IBM tool, we would love to. I just want to see them win.
All right,
and
yeah,
learn
that's
something
great.
new.
So like other people, we will be here for 48 hours. We are. I've got my coffee here, and I would encourage everybody to drop by the IBM booth. And again, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing a developer perspective that's kind of very visionary and motivational. And thank you for our audience. We will continue our programming on the floor.